Okay, good morning, student. I am going to give an introduction about the Python programming classes. Right. The Python program was created by Guido van Rossum. Right. He is a Dutch programmer, and he has created that Python programming in 1989. Actually, in officially it released on 1991. 1991. He worked. He actually worked at worked at that Centrum Viscon and Informatica is a research center doing research in mathematics and computer science. They located in Amsterdam at Netherlands. Then the focus of the CW is the fundamental research problems derived from social needs. That social needs, whatever social needs is there, then for that they doing some research. So they come many researches, right? Then Python program is actually high level language program. It's a more high level than that C. C is actually in between intermediate and high level language. Python is high level language. High level language means user can easily understand that language and can easily read that language, that high level language property. Right. Initially, actually, the language name is ABC. Then from that ABC, then it will evolve that Python program. In 1991, it's officially released. The important features of this Python program is actually this is a high level language. I already told you that one. High level languages user can programmer can read and write easily. So this is a high level language. So high level language is having some easily understandable construct. Using the construct we are doing the programming. Right. Next one is that Python program is also having a property of object oriented property. Object oriented property like it is an object related, then we are having class, then inheritance, polymorphism, then we are having that virtual we are having that whatever that object oriented concept is there, then the concept is implemented in the Python programming itself, right? Then it's a scalable, so we can have at whatever level we can do that project, we can do that one. Next one is portable. Portable means we can develop a program in Windows and we can execute the program in Linux. There is no change in at all. So whatever you are developing a program in Windows, we can run the program in Linux. If suppose we are developing in Linux, we can execute on that Windows. So this is a portable. So whatever the operating system it may be, then we can develop a program. That program can run in whatever operating system. Next one is the extensible. Extensible means you are developing a project in Python. Now suppose in C we are having some feature, we can add on that one. So Python and C combined together, we can work using Pyrex. Similarly, you are developing a program or project in Python, but you want to update through that Java, it is possible. Then we can use Python. Then similarly, that is CHAS project is there. So here we are having Python project is there. Then on that Python project, some suppose important features plugin from the CHAS is possible using Iron Python. Next one, easy to learn. So suppose here we are having a concept is very easy, then we can easily learn that one, right? As compared with the C, the Python is more easy. You'll see that one, right? You already know that C. So now we are going to see that Python. At the time you realize that one that it is very easy to learn. We'll see that one, right? Next, here we are having easy to read also. So we are having the program is structured one. Actually, the last year I conducted a C lab. In that lab, they never bother about that indentation. Yeah, they are writing the code as usual as it is in the random manner. So suppose I want to correct that program, I can't do that one. If it is structured, then I can easily correct. But in that case of Python program, within the structured only it will allow. So if you are writing a program, the indentation must be there, then only it will execute. Otherwise, it will give error. So after completing your program, the program is structured one. Whoever want to know that one, we can easily see and we can easily read and understand. Next one, easy to maintain. So if you are easily understand, then if you want to modify or you want to correct it, then you are having some trouble, then we can easily correct it. So whoever the program, they can correct it. So easy to maintain. Some projects are there, then we don't know where we have to correct it. But here in that Python program, whatever we need, then we can correct it. So this is easy to maintain. Next one is robust. Robust means we can plug in many projects. So we are having one content of one project. That content is required for another project. Then we can take that one and we can place it. So it is robustness. Next one, effective is a rapid prototyping tool. Right. So suppose you are developing many small modules. Then you can have the prototype, and that prototype is going to be used and modify or customize according to your requirement. This is possible in the rapid prototyping tool. Next one is memory management. This is very important feature in the case of Python. Why? Actually, in C language, if you are allocating a memory, we have to use malloc, and after allocating memory, after using that memory, you have to be responsible for free up that memory. Otherwise, that memory is going to be as like a junk. Though that memory cannot be used anywhere else. So the memory is as like a dump, so it won't use for future purpose. But in that case of Python program, if you are writing a program and you are allocating a memory, automatically it will reallocate, and it will make free that memory. So you don't worry about that memory. The program itself or that particular system itself, it will have clear idea about that how we have to manage that memory. Next one is here Python is actually interpreted language. Interpreted language means we can execute statement by statement. So what advantage it is? So if you are you want to execute one small process, then we can write execute, and then we can continue that another process. So one by one process by one process we can execute, and we can see the output, and we can go through continuously, and we can complete that overall your project. Then another, and also we can have the compiled process. Compiled means you are writing overall program, and that overall program is going to be compiled, and it will create an exe file. So that exe file is going to be executed as like a C program, right? So this program, actually Python program, is we can have act as a interpreted or in form of compiled. So both is possible. So this is important feature on Python programming. These are all the features of Python programming. So this feature is very useful for developing a program or developing a project and maintaining a project, and also many robustness of development of projects. So we can continue our learning of that Python program. So you are having some enthus about you want to learn that Python program. Okay, we'll continue now. Right now, how we can install that Python, right? So we are having that one. Actually, the Python program is all are open source. So whoever want, we can download without any cost, and we can install that one, right? The websites are http://www.python.org.downloads, where we can see many versions are there. Then whatever version you want, we can download and install. So we are having that Microsoft installer files are there. So you directly download and we directly install that one. Then it will create one environment for executing, for writing a program or for implementing a program in Python, right? So in that Windows, similarly that in Linux also we are having such facility. So you have to download the zip file, then we have to unzip file, then we have to implement, and we have to install on the corresponding location, and then we have to configure, and it will make your environment. So in both way it is possible. So Linux and Windows only we are using. So we can know about that Linux and Windows, how you install the Python in Linux as well as in Windows, right? Now we need to set some path, right? So in that case of Linux, how do you set a path? Is you are having that in shell command, you have to write set in env. So set environment, set env path. The path is already existing. Some path is existing for some other application. Then we are adding that one along with your Python application also. So that is one way. So we are having many types of shells in Linux, right? CSC and bash, and then here base, and then KSH, right? In CSC we have to write this code, and in base cell we have to write the next code, and HCH cell is you have to write, right? In Windows, just you have to give that one path name is here percentage path percentage semicolon followed by then the path of your implementation, right? Like we can implement, or otherwise we can use that your user interface, like here system environment, where you have to go and set the environment variable, where you have to click that path. On that path we have to add back with semicolon, right? Semicolon followed by the path is going to be copied and place it there. Like we can install or we can set up a path for your Windows environment. Then in case of whatever the programming language, we are having some set of keywords. Similarly, in Python also we are having a set of keywords. So now you are seeing that such keywords, right? So example, and, set, break, class, continue, tough, dull, else if, then else, except, exe, false, finally, far from, global, if, important, in, import, in, is, lambda, none, non-local, not, or, boss, print, tries, return, true, try, while, with, yield. So these are the keyword. This keyword is reserved for that program. Okay, so you can't use that word as like a identifier. So you have to be careful with these are all the sets. These sets you should not use for as a identifier. So you have to be careful with that one. Care with that. Then how we can design that identifiers in Python, right? Identifier means the function name, the variable name, right? Then suppose we are having structure name, these are all the identifier, user defined that one, right? So here we are having some rules, right? As like that, see here also we are having the rules, right? The first should be a letter, either a small letter A to Z or capital letter A to Z, and also we can have underscore. So underscore you also consider as like a letter, right? The followed by we can have any number of digit, any number of letter, and any number of underscore. No other special character is allowed here. So some example of that valid names are my variable where underscore 3, then this underscore works underscore 2. Like we can have identifier. So this is a rule you use for writing an identifier. Next, now you want to write in the program, you want to write some commands just for more understandable, right? So for that we need to write some commands. So how do you write the command? If you are having a command with a single line, just you have to put a hash symbol and then you write the single line statement. That's a single line command. So wherever you want to write some commands, so you want to write some points, you have to write that one, then you have to use cache followed by that code. So it will ignore that one as a command. So you can use that command line. So if you want to have next line, next line, next line, you have to use cache, cache, cache. If suppose you are having one paragraph, you want to write it as command, then you have to give 3 double quote followed by that paragraph and end with the 3 double quote, or otherwise 3 single quote, then paragraph end with that 3 single quote. So this is the way of writing commands in your program. Next, variable, right? So here in Python, we are having many variables. Just we will see some limited as here x equal to 5. Here, one important point is no need to declare any variable. No need to declare any variable. We can directly use that variable for your initialization. Here, x equal to 45. Here, no need to tell about is x as integer. Here, x is a variable. Then now we are assigning that value 45. Now only it know that one, this is integer, right? X equal to your name, then x is a character type, string type integer, string type variable. Like, so whatever you are assigning, according to that one, that variable type is going to be changed, right? Here name equal to data flare as a double quote is a string. So here the name is string variable. So the string object data flare is stored on that name, right? So string is referred by that name. Next one, the nums is this is actually list. Third one is list. So we can have a number of data, then you are having separated by comma, and then within that square bracket and assign it to that list. So this is the way of creating a list. Next, here then another one important point is here 2 variable can assign with a single statement. So 2 variable, 2 data. So the corresponding data, corresponding variable is going to be assigned with a single statement. For example, here age is one variable, city is another variable. Age is assigned to 21, city is assigned to Indore, right? Indore. So here we can have a single statement. So two or more variable can refer a one data. So age equal to 5 and equal to 7. Next one, swapping a variable. For example, here we are assigning that A for red, B for blue. Now we want to swap A comma B equal to P comma A. So we are swapping that one. So we can swap that variable also. Next we can have the complex number in Python. right? So here we are having a variable for complex number. So real part and imaginary part. 2 is real and plus 3 is imaginary part, right? So if you want to know about the variable data type, just you give command as type within the bracket, you have to give that variable name. So it will give the data type, right? So this is a feature of your programming Python language, right? Next, here we can have a formatted printout also. We can have as like a C language. Here we can have that percentage symbol, right? Control string we can have. Then we can use it here now. How we are using now? I just printed percentage yes. So the percentage yes is belongs to x. So whatever the x is 10, 10 is added. Next we are having percentage. Next another percentage yes. For that we are having printer. So in printer we are having tell as a string. So after completing that one, then it will print as record the formatted. Okay, now we'll see that one. So Python list that list can have any data type. Within that each element can have any type of data type. For example, here first two data is string. This next data is integer, right? So next five data are five data integer. So here we are having that one. This is a list. So if you are printing that one, so the total content is going to be printed. Next, now we want to extract in that list the record element only. Just what actually we have to do is we have to give that variable name within the square bracket. You have to start with 1 and up to that 3 means 3 minus 1. So 1 and 2 is printed. So the location in location 1 Tuesday, then location in 2 we are having 3. So it is printed. Okay, next one here. Now you see we are having a list. The list is having around 5 elements. Now you want to print each element, then we have to use a for loop. Then in that for loop for n in nums, so in that n is here 0 1 2 3 4. So for 0 we are having that 1 2 3 5 6 8 is printed. Now it's a simple way of writing the for loop. In case of C language, you have to write that for initialize, and we have to check the condition, and we have to increment or decrement. Whatever you want, it is doing that one for you, and it will continue. And it is very simple, easy to understand, and easy to write, and easy to have syntax. So this is a very important feature of the Python program. That's all. We'll continue in the next class.